The Lexus UX is a compact SUV with front or four-wheel drive and a full hybrid powertrain. It has every intention of offering a sharp-looking, efficient and ultra-modern alternative to the ageing Lexus CT hatchback, as well as other company car favourites. I think Lexus is off to a good start with the styling on this one as well. It's almost like they've managed to kind of smooth out some of the fussiness of the other models. What do you reckon? I think it's the best looking 5-door Lexus model actually, and that's got to be a good thing. Not only that, but it's quite efficient as well. So official WLTP figures have economy at somewhere around 50 mpg, CO2 emissions around about 100 grams. So that's all very good. And together with a decent equipment list, makes it actually quite a compelling prospect in terms of the finances. So, is it that efficient in the real world? And should you be buying one instead of a Mini Countryman plug-in hybrid, Audi Q2, any of those other posh small SUVs that the Lexus UX will compete with? The Lexus's claimed efficiency is pretty good then, but how does it stack up in the real world? Well, the full hybrid powertrain, also called a self-charging hybrid by Lexus and Toyota, uses a 2-litre petrol engine, and it's the energy from this and also from the car's regenerative braking that powers the small battery and gives the car its pure electric running at low speeds. That means that you don't ever need to plug this car in. In normal hybrid mode, the car will trickle into its pure electric state quite regularly, but you need to treat the throttle with painful care to prevent the petrol engine from kicking in. Selecting EV mode will help solve that, but you'll only see around a mile or so of continuous electric running at most, and the petrol engine will still kick in regardless of the mode if you accelerate too hard. So, it's not a scientific test of course, but a couple of days in this car, about 50-50 motorway and about town stuff, and we're seeing over 40 mpg. And that's not bad actually, it's probably roughly on a par with what you'll get from most diesel rivals. They'll certainly do better economy if you do a lot of motorway miles. Around town, this thing trickles into electric power quite regularly actually, so you see the economy really creep up quite quickly. So if that's your sort of driving, then do think about this because it's really good for that. Really quiet too. This car's got a 2-litre petrol engine, and that is usefully quieter and smoother than the 2.5-litre that you get in a lot of other Toyota and Lexus products that we often criticise for being very noisy. In this car, actually you can accelerate quite hard and it's still nice and quiet, and that's really good. So there's really nothing to complain about with refinement. It's really one of the car's strong points. It's also a really comfortable car. This is a standard UX, which has softer suspension than the F Sport. I haven't driven an F Sport, so I can't really comment, but I think this rides really nicely, so I would think twice about going for F Sport unless you really want the extra sporty looks. If you're going to do a lot of miles and you just want a car that makes life easy, then the way this thing drives is going to tick all of the boxes. The UX's interior is actually really quite nice. I like all the different materials, all these switches very straightforward, feel really nice to use, all of that. So I think Lexus has actually really nailed it in that respect. We would like a slimmer steering wheel, the steering wheel's a bit too fat. And this material, while it looks really cool, being quite well acquainted with the destructiveness of a toddler, if you've got kids, this material is not going to last more than a few weeks. So yeah, choose one of the other models that get a more durable upholstery. Other than that, the thing that really lets the Lexus down is the infotainment system. Now, it's a bit of a pattern with Lexus. The graphics just aren't good enough. You can't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and you have to control it with this touchpad thing, which is just a pain. Even though in the UX you have these little shortcut buttons down here, which are sort of quite nicely placed to sort of fall under your hand. But it's just not an intuitive way of controlling the system, and it's just so far behind what you can get in its rivals. Lexus goes some way to making up for its poor infotainment system with standard equipment that includes LED headlights, rear parking sensors and camera, climate control and loads of safety kit including adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, traffic sign recognition and more, and that's just on the cheapest model. F Sport gets sporty looks and suspension, as well as upgraded upholstery and electrically adjusted heated front seats, while top spec Takumi gets even more, including a sunroof, blind spot monitoring, head-up display, and even a bigger 10-inch screen, although the price jump from F Sport to Takumi is pretty huge at some £5,000. Practicality is a massive weak point with the Lexus. I mean, this boot, I don't expect it to be an estate or anything, but you still expect it to be, you know, up there with decent hatchbacks in terms of its boot space, and it's not. Look, this is the highest boot I think I've ever seen. It's crazy how far you have to lift something off the ground to get it into the car. Granted, you get a little bit of underfloor storage in there, which is nice, but even so, I mean, for reference, right? Handbag and laptop. There you go. And that is, you know, it's just a tiny, tiny boot. And to add insult to injury, you get this incredibly weird, kind of flimsy, sunshady, cheap type thing. It's just not good, really, is it? It's not what you want in a premium small SUV. There's enough space in the back for 2 average-sized adults to get comfortable, but access is via a fairly narrow door aperture, and the UX is a bit pokey even compared to a Mini Countryman PHEV, let alone similarly priced rivals like the Volvo XC40 and Volkswagen Tiguan. The Lexus UX is a smart driving, smart looking little SUV, so the appeal is clear, but it's really let down by that practicality and also by that media interface. So unless you're a company car driver, when actually potentially the finances might make up for that, we'd suggest you look elsewhere, particularly the very excellent little Volvo XC40 or the Kia Niro plug-in hybrid if you're not too worried about the premium brand. For loads more advice, news and reviews on every electric car and hybrid car on sale, head to DrivingElectric.com, and don't forget to click subscribe on our YouTube channel. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram.